Good morning. This is Professor Anderson with a little bit of feedback for your writing assignment number 4, your rough draft of your white paper. So I have pulled up here, this is the writing assignment PDF. You can find it in week 6. And in here, down, if you scroll down through, it just shows you how the paper should be organized. And that's really the first thing that I do is run through the nuts and bolts. Do you have all the parts and components? And as I look through, you do executive summary, introduction, previous approaches, new findings, and conclusion. So, and then your references. So when I run through here, you have everything organized. Now let's take a look at what we're looking for in the rubric. Now the rubric, while this PDF gives you the major components, this is the rubric, these are what we're actually scoring on, is do you have the length, is the audience clear, is the problem addressed, the executive summary, blah, blah, blah. Let me show you here. Please, one of the things, use of sources, requirements to meet the graphics. There's an element in here about use of white space, graphics are readable, and how it's organized. So I just wanted to share with you that that's what I go through. And you have all of that. I love how you have this bullet point. Couple of things you want to make sure. Let me just double check in here to make sure on this. Sometimes I get the two. One of them has to be single spaced and one of them does not. And I can't remember if this one is required to be single spaced. No, so we're good. So what I love how you've hit on all of the important information and included it. And you've organized it in the correct fashion. Now what we need to go back and do is comb through the nitty gritty. And that's really just some grammatic and structure tweaks that we might be able to do. Let me read to you these first couple of sentences. Over the years, we have been able to experience great and exciting technological advancements in the world. And at the rate at which these advancements are rapidly expanding, we can safely say the world is steering even more deeper into the information age, or as some may call it, the digital age. Whew! You have a lot of you have a lot of information, but you have a lot of what's called inflated language. Better to say, perhaps, exciting technological advances embrace the world. The rate at which these advancements are expanding have steered the world into the information age or digital age. Do you see how we took that same information, but we're just clear, concise, and concrete? What I noticed throughout is you have a very, some people might call it a flowery language. I call it a little more of a literary approach. So you're pulling me through in a story. And remember, a white paper, as you're doing this, is an information to a broad audience. I can see that clearly. You want to make certain that you are hitting the facts. You don't necessarily need to pull me through the story. You need to elucidate those facts so that you're sharing brand new information with a very broad audience. Let me go on to just show you a couple more examples. Here we go. This at the beginning of your introduction. I love your hook. A question. It's always good to have something kind of catchy and out there to gather your reader's interest. But let me read this to you. Ever pictured yourself in one of those self-driven vehicles? Imagine being able to control or even better own one of the exciting self-driven Teslas you see driving around the city. So electric vehicle manufacturing companies, for example, Tesla, has taken a great turn and achievement towards the development and improvement of electric vehicle technology. A whole bunch of stuff going on here. One, love the hook. You've really captured the attention. That's very important. But you are what's called redundant. You are you're making the same statement numerous times. Additionally, you have some significant grammar issues, specifically subject verb. Let's take a look here. Electric vehicle manufacturing companies, for example, Tesla, companies have taken great strides, or a great turn, I would say taken great strides towards the development and improvement of electric vehicle technology. And then here you have the same question sort of asked twice in different ways. So perhaps better to say, imagine driving one of those exciting, or imagine sitting in the seat of an exciting self-driven Tesla, period. Rolling or strolling through the city streets hands-free, period. So again, here we have, have you ever thought about self-driven? Have you ever thought about self-driven? Have you ever thought about self-driven? If you're going to paint the picture and walk with the hook for your reader, give them different images. Here you've given them the same image: self-driven, self-driven, self-driven. And then again, that subject verb has to agree in number. So you have companies have. That's like saying we have instead of we has. You really need to make sure you have that subject verb. Aside from that, so there's two things that I want to share with you, or three things. Let me share. I love the organization. You have all the information in the right areas. What we need to tighten up is grammar throughout the whole of the document. And that grammar needs to focus on three things: subject-verb agreement, redundancy, and clear, concise. So anytime you see like 2 or 3 sentences within the same paragraph referencing the exact same idea, consolidate it into one. Make sure that your subject and verbs agree. And then finally, the identification and tagging of your figures. What you need to do here is figure 1, give it a label, and this goes into your references. So you don't reference the place where you pulled it from underneath of the image. You list it as figure 1, give it a title, and then in the bottom you'll tell where it's from. And that's what I have to offer for you. And I look forward to reading your final copy.